I'm doing good. How you doing today, Ramel?
We are great, and we will be starting after the national anthem. And we are back, and Collinwood has won the toss, and they have elected to defer to the second half, so they will be kicking off to the Lawyers. As we said earlier, this is a rematch of the 2018 City Championship game in which Marshall won 11-0. A couple big plays for Marshall happened in that game, and a safety. And Marshall's defense held the rest of the way. Just to give you guys a little insight to the Collinwood-Marshall rivalry, this is an old rivalry from the old North, South, East, West format. And John Marshall actually leads that series 11-9, believe it or not. You're ready, bro. John, this is Jalen. This is our You're going to have to hit the mouse pads after this. And joining us also in the booth today is an old friend, Sean Bartzak. Sean, how you doing, man?
Doing good. It's ready for kickoff time.
And the kick is away. It's deep. And he is clotheslined at the 30-yard line. D'Angelo Solomon on the tackle. D'Angelo was a player of the week last week for Collinwood, as Collinwood actually won to get into this game against John Adams, 21-14. All right, so the Warriors will start off first and 10 at the 30. Man in motion, takes the snap, hands it off, and hits the edge, makes a move, but he's brought down.
Hit a long run there, Ramon. I noticed that on the near side here, and again, the way he was able to get free and get that first down, that was pretty awesome for the Lawyers.
Yeah, the Warriors starting off good, getting the run game started.
I also noticed Collinwood, I remember you said before in the past, Collinwood hasn't had a lot of players. They have a great amount of players on their side, and of course John Marshall too.
Yeah, they do. This time it's even. As we saw last time we were here, the Lawyers outnumbered the Collinwood Railroaders. And there is laundry on the field. We have a number for the quarterback for John Marshall. It is Amari Lakes.
I think that 5-yard penalty is going to hurt them only because, they had a great first down on that drive. So it looks like, they're going to have to really go for a long first down again.
Yeah, but you know what? As we've seen this season, Railroaders and the Lawyers have been good about getting first down. So Marty Lakes in the shotgun. And in motion. Lakes takes the snap and hands off. Mari Pope was the running back on that play. He only gets a gain of 2.
Collinwood did a really good job at trapping the running back right there.
Indeed. And good to see you again, Sean.
Good to see you too.
Long time.
It has been. I was reading an article, Terry Pluto, talking about the Senate teams in the playoffs, and all these kids are all so happy to be playing football this year. All of them, every school.
And indeed, as they were shut down last year. So this 2nd and 14. As Lakes is waiting to snap, Lakes takes the snap and he hands off to Pope again, but Pope actually gets closer to the first set of sticks, so it'll be 3rd down and it looks like 10 for the Lawyers. It's ironic that you're here this time because this was the same game I saw you in last time I saw you.
It's crazy. It's been that long.
Yeah.
And you guys I love your coverage and everything you guys are doing. This is amazing and awesome at the same time for the kids of Cleveland.
We're trying.
You're doing a great job. I'm really proud to know that you've done so much in 2 years, and it's not easy to get this going.
It's not, but we make it work, and we are happy that the people of the Senate League were nice enough to involve us in this. So 3rd down and 10. It's a 4 wide receiver set. Lakes takes the snap, drops back to pass. He throws, and it's caught. And he is close to the first down. According to the ref on the near sideline, he may be short by at least a yard. So it'll be 4th down.
He spotted the ball far back.
Oh. Well, the near side ref had him closer to the first down. The far side ref obviously has him 2 yards short. So John Marshall will punt. And back to receive will be number 4, Thomas Ware. Ware showed his versatility all season. The kick is away, but it's blocked. It's blocked. There's still a scramble for it, but it looks like Collinwood gets a stop, and Collinwood will take over on downs at the John Marshall. Looks like the John Marshall 25.
Unfortunate play there for the punter as the ball, as he took the snap, he was ready to have a clean punt, but his punt got blocked by his own player.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate that his punt got blocked by his own player, but that's very good momentum for Collinwood going in so close to the goal line.
You don't see your own player play very often on the punt.
I've actually never. I mean, it's going to happen. It's high school football, and that's unfortunately part of the process of things are going to happen different.
Accidents do happen, but we'll see those kind of accidents.
That's got to be a first one for me. I've never seen that before.
Hey, that makes 2, probably all 3.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I've never had a own player. I had a player hit the punter. I've never had a player block the punt.
Yeah, he had his foot, everything was going good, and just the player, when he extended the ball, boom, right into his own player.
Well, it'll be 1st down and 10 for Collinwood, and Jacob Brown is at quarterback. Brown hands it off to Solomon. And I spoke with Coach Wheeler at Collinwood earlier before the game. He said if he could just keep his team focused and have a good shot at winning this game.
I definitely agree. If they can keep them focused and limit the penalties, because it seems like Collinwood, for the past couple games we've covered, they had a problem with penalties. So if they can just focus and not get as many penalties, I think they're in the right spot.
Indeed. It'll be 2nd and 10, or 2nd and 12. Jacob Brown at center. And shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back the pass, he throws it. And it is incomplete. pass was intended for number 3, Chaz Johnson. Collinwood taking shots early, and it looks like they'll have to get the first down if they want to keep this drive alive.
At this point, I think you have to go for it. I mean, you're right there. You have to get some points on the board. They're in such a great spot right now, Collinwood is.
You would think 4 down territory, so I agree. But knowing the way John Marshall's defense has played all year, they surprised John Hay, who was picked to be second in the Senate League, and they're actually third behind surprise team Rhodes.
I feel like Rhodes surprised a lot of people this year.
As they did in the game we covered against Glenville. They only held Glenville to 22 points, which was a low for Glenville. On 3rd, 12, Brown drops back. Brown takes off, makes a move. He's still running. And he's brought down short of the first down. He gained what looks like maybe 6. It'll be 4th down. And it is indeed Sean 4 down territory.
They're going for it, aren't they? I don't believe they have a kicker, I would assume.
We haven't seen too many kickers in the Senate this year. 4 down territory. But even on this side of the field, as close as they are, I do feel like this would be 4 down territory. So I agree. You have to take the shots when you got them.
Most definitely, especially being this close to the first down line too.
And this is where John Marshall's defense will earn the money, as old John Madden would say. That's a Madden 98 reference for those that don't know. On 4th down, Solomon and Brown in the backfield. Brown takes the snap, he looks, he throws the screen. But number 11, Davion Ward does not get the first down, so it'll be turnover on downs. And John Marshall will be starting on their own side of the field again. And with 5:59 to go in the first quarter, it's going to look like a defensive game so far.
That would have been a tough kick for there. That would have been like a 35 or almost 40-yarder, to be honest.
No one could have made that.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
As we said earlier, John Marshall leads since 2000 rather. John Marshall leads the series 11-9. John Marshall's had a winning streak as of late. They actually beat Collinwood earlier in the season, 50-8. I think revenge is on the mind for Collinwood. So 1st and 10. Bates in the backfield. Bates takes the snap, drops back to pass. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's got some room. He breaks a tackle. And he is actually close to the first down. So John Marshall got a little momentum after the 4th down stop, and they are actually looking to move the ball just a little bit. Second and 1 after a gain of 9. And Lynch takes the snap and he hands it off. Pope breaks the tackle, but he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Running game not very effective at the moment for John Marshall.
The play before that with Lace, he had a great run on that one. You think we'll see him again do it?
He might. He might. I've been told we didn't get a chance to cover John Marshall this year. They had missed the game. Lace actually does take off, breaks the tackle. He's still on his feet, but he's finally brought down by Thomas Ware. Ware, actually another Senate League Player of the Week. So John Marshall gains the first down of the season, of the city championship. And we have some chains finally moving, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the John Marshall 37, and Lakes is in the shotgun with a 4 wide receiver set. The man in motion. Lakes takes it and hands off to Oak, and Oak tries to make a move, but he is swarmed by a host of railroaders.
Pope isn't doing a bad job at shedding these tackles. He's just not having the blockers to get him the yards that he needs to gain.
And sometimes it's you and the tackler, and you can't make that move. You're just dead in the water. But I think, knowing Coach Cleggett, he'll probably stick with the run. It looks like at some point it may or may not work. That remains to be seen. And Lakes looks like we got another first down, but there is a flag on the play. It is a face mask penalty against Collinwood, so that'll be 15 yards added to the run. And it'll be a first down on the Collinwood side of the field once the ball spots, the ref spots the ball.
Good news for the lawyers on that. I mean, any face mask, you'll take it.
That is true. The more penalties you get on the defense, the better it is. So 1st and 10. And Lakes has trips to the far side. Lakes takes the snap, he throws it, but it is knocked out of the air by number 15. That roster may not be correct. So,
Davion Taylor.
Oh, Davion Taylor. Oh, excuse me, that is Davion Taylor. And while we have a moment, never mind. We'll wait till this next play. Another 3 wide receivers to the far side for Lakes. Lakes is in the shotgun. Lakes hands off. And number 11, Timothy Jennings, gets another first down. While we have a quick minute, we've got a Senate League trivia question for you guys and those watching. Who has the most city championships between both teams?
I'm gonna have to go with Collinwood.
I'm going to go with John Marshall on that one.
Well, we'll give that answer after this play. And you hear the sounds of John Marshall's band. And another penalty, and this time the entire defensive line for Collinwood jumps off sides. So that'll be another 5 yards. And it'll give John Marshall the first down.
You know, one thing I did notice is Jalen did say earlier that if Collinwood made some penalties, defensive penalties, which they two in a row basically, you were right. This is going to hurt Collinwood right now. You were right on that, Jalen.
Absolutely, it usually does. Hopefully they can pick it up though and stop with the penalties.
And 1st and 10. Lakes in the shotgun. Hands it off to the Pope. Like Jameis Williams was on that carry. Warriors, like we said, the Warriors are no strangers to the city championship. They've been here a few times in the past couple of years. And it will be 2nd and 8 for the Warriors. And Lakes in the shotgun, 4 wide receiver set. Takes the snap, hands off. You actually know he takes it. He's got a lane, and he's hit. Ball comes out, but it's late as the ref calls him down. And he will get the first down. And the answer to our first Senate League trivia question, Sean, you were actually right. John Marshall has the most city championships between both them and Collinwood by 1, as they have 7. and Collinwood has 6.
Oh, wow.
So, great guess. And first and 10 for John Marshall. Lakes takes the snap, he hands it off, but he is swarmed, and it looks like it'll be a loss of maybe 3. It'll be a loss of 4 on that play, so it'll be 2nd and 14. And it looks like John Marshall will take the quarter.
That quarter flew, guys.
Yeah, it did actually.
It
Definitely did. With all the running and no timeouts, no timeouts were called. This is a rarity that you haven't seen the timeout called in the city championship in the first quarter.
Yeah, we only saw 3 penalties, so I mean, that's not so bad either. That'll also make the clock go quick.
Yeah. So, 0-0 at the end of the first, but we'll be back with that second quarter after this.
We're off right now. It's Jalen, right? Yes. All right, just want to make sure.
So,
Great. Yeah, just, hey, when you see stuff, just say what that's all you
I've
gotta
been
do.
telling you.
Any observations, just talk about it. That's the best.
So Glenville will be hosting tomorrow.
Yeah. That's here versus
Beaver Local, I believe.
Beaver, okay.
I think it's Beaver Local. Don't quote me on that.
Let's see who's
It's Rhodes, John Hay, and Glenville. They all made it in.
yeah, John Hayes the one is at Nordonia.
Ugh, look at that.
Yeah.
Who's John Haker?
Nordonia. They trying to get all the city teams out early.
You never know. I mean, Nordonia's not that good.
I mean, they made it. And we are back with the second quarter. And John Marshall has it 2nd and 14. Lakes in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He drops back to pass. He's under some pressure, but he's out of lane. Breaks a tackle, and he's brought down. He only gained 3 on that, so he's almost back to the original first down.
Lakes did a good job at maneuvering out of that pressure by the defense.
Indeed he did, but as a quarterback, you can't keep taking those kind of hits. So Coach Plaggett might have to tell Lakes after this series to start throwing the ball or let go of the ball a little bit more. Because I don't know who they have at backup, but as a quarterback, and I've seen quarterbacks take a lot of hits, and as we've all seen Baker, the broken shoulder right now. I don't think being beat up in the city championship game is something you want. So Lakes drops, he throws, and it's almost intercepted by, guess who? Thomas Ware. So Thomas Ware making his presence known.
That was a close. That would have been a pick 6.
Actually, Thomas Ware, it was either Thomas Ware or DeMarcus Montgomery last week did have a pick 6. So, Collinwood, no strangers to the pick 6 city. As that pick 6 actually sealed the game for Collinwood and gave Collinwood a 21-0 lead in the third quarter before John Adams started making their comeback.
When he jumped the route on that one, he smelled it.
Well, it's 4th down now, and obviously 4 down territory, so Lakes in the shotgun, he takes the snap, he drops back to pass, he throws, it's caught, and there's a first down, almost a touchdown, but Thomas Ware saves it. Bear Atkins on the catch. He almost got the touchdown, which would have been really the momentum shift for Marshall that they would have needed. It'll be 1st and goal for John Marshall. Marshall looking to draw first blood. Lakes in the shotgun, he takes the snap, he hands it off to Pope. But Pope is stopped at the looks like the 2, maybe the 3. They only gained 2. And in this situation, Jalen, you got to think that this is 4 down territory, and they have to come away with some points.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. It's the only option for them. We'll see what they do what they're able to do to get in the end zone.
I say they go Atkins up the middle again. That guy, he's very nice sized, and the way he was running the ball after that catch, that was nice.
We'll see here, it's 2nd and goal. As Atkins takes a snap, and he does hand off, but he tries to call his own number. He breaks the tackle, but he's also brought down back at the 10. So Nate's calling his own number. Simon and Williams in on that tackle, as they have decided to not let Lakes get loose.
It's got to ease some pressure off of off of Collinwood's defense. Since they're not at the 3-yard line anymore, now they're at the 10. Makes things a little bit easier for them.
You would have to think that, but knowing how Coach Clegg, how aggressive his offenses can be, it's hard to imagine. And the timeout is called by Collinwood, and after the timeout, we will be back. Alright, there's a 12-second delay, so clearly, but we've dropped some frames, but hopefully that clears up as we keep moving.
How did you have it at 0 seconds that one
At 1, I kept fooling with this, and it stayed the same. I hadn't touched it, but I did. I was on the computer last night configuring graphics and stuff. So what I am going to assume happened was that my home Wi-Fi is a hell of a lot stronger than our hotspot, and that's probably what it was, because this automatically connects to home Wi-Fi as well. But we only dropped 50%, so hopefully that comes back. 12-second delay, I can deal with it. But as long as we don't have a warning, I think we should be good.
Okay.
Keep in mind, we've been set back by the school district. We didn't have this problem. Had we got the contract when we should have, we wouldn't have had this problem.
Oh yeah.
I found a stronger computer. Gotta love Cleveland District. And we are back after the timeout. It is 3rd and goal. John Marshall, 4 wide receivers set. Lakes takes the snap, he looks, he throws, and it is dropped. And I would imagine Coach Wheeler will be screaming at halftime about somebody covering that out route, because that is how they got down to the red zone. And I believe if you want to stop these routes, they're not hard to do, but we will see what halftime adjustments are made, or what sideline adjustments are made for Collinwood as the game goes on.
Yeah, Collinwood's defense was very lucky that he dropped it, because he was wide open right there. He would have had the touchdown if he would have caught that.
Very true. So 4th and goal for John Marshall, and John Marshall in the 3 wide receiver set. Lake's in the shotgun. Yeah, no more first down, so Lake throws. It's caught, but it's actually incomplete. It's knocked down by number 12, Robert Williams. So Collinwood takes over on downs, and it is looking like a stalemate so far, but we'll see who gets the momentum shift, if there is a momentum shift, for Collinwood or John Marshall.
Yeah, both defenses are showing up when it matters and stopping the opposing team from being able to score.
This was a better first half than we expected, as like we said, Marshall has a high-powered offense, so they've been able to put up 50 points multiple times this season, especially against teams such as John Hay and Collinwood.
I was going to say on that last drive when Lakes, the one time he was almost getting tackled here close to us, he had his arm down, almost like Randall Cunningham back in the day, Randall Cunningham-esque, and I know you remember that, Ronaldo.
Oh, man.
Monday Night Football against the Giants.
Oh, you mean player 12?
Yes,
Player
yes.
12 in the technical room? Yeah, I remember that guy.
And he fell to the ground, but kept his arm up, was still able to throw the
And threw a touchdown. How does that even work?
And Lakes was close to that. You know, he was really close. It was pretty neat to see that.
And there's another timeout by Collinwood. So with that, we will be back after the timeout. That's not good to be wasting timeouts like that. We got to get that together.
You gotta get that right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so biased, but we haven't won a city championship since 2007. Man, we got to get one. Yeah, man. I saw you should put up. Noah's season ended in the soccer. That had to be heartbreaking.
It was really hard. Felt bad for him.
How's he doing in football?
All right. I mean, they had another kicker coming too, and it was back and forth because of politics. So, I mean, he got the kick more in this last game. We'll see what happens tomorrow night.
He's a
Playoff
junior,
game.
or
Senior. And tomorrow's they're playing Maria Mid Park.
They should win that game.
That's what I think too. See who they play next.
And we are back after the timeout. Looks like Collinwood's got everything together. So first and 10 Collinwood at their own 9-yard line. Jacob Brown in the shotgun. Brown takes the snap. He pitches it. He throws it.
Oh, my.
And it is intercepted. John Marshall's taking it back. He's got a lane. It is a pick six. John Marshall capitalizes on some Collinwood trickery, and it is turned into a point off turnover situation for John Marshall.
Damian Jackson read that one, guys. Wow.
Indeed he did. I honestly believed that was going to be a touchdown, but the ball was clearly underthrown, and Tavion Jackson took advantage. So at the moment, it is a 35-yard pick six, and John Marshall takes the lead.
I thought that was going to be a touchdown, too. I did not see the interception coming, especially the pick six.
Man, that is heartbreaking. And that could have been the momentum shift that actually John Marshall needed.
Going the other way, that could have been a 95-yard touchdown. Because that was a great flea flicker until, like you said, the ball was a little bit underthrown and picked off by Tavion Jackson. Wow.
And there's the I formation, and it looks like the two-point conversion will be no good. So as it stands, it is John Marshall 6, Collinwood 0. And we will wait for the ensuing kickoff. And they say you don't play good football in the Senate.
No, they play great football in the Senate. Every year since I've been coming to this, it's been, I mean, even since you've been here, Rob, these games have always been great. There's not been one game that was really like.
Let's not forget the double showdown in back-to-back years between John Hay and Rhodes. Those were classics.
They were classics.
Like literally classics. As actually, John Hay would actually win. They would win 2016 by 3 points and 4 points in 2017.
The 3-point that came on one of the linemen kicked a game-winning field goal.
It
for
did.
John Hay. I'll never forget that. Oh my goodness.
That lineman came through. I don't even remember his name, but
I don't either, but he was great.
The kick is away. It is caught by Ware. Ware looks like, Ware is met.
Yeah, that was helmet to helmet though.
And
Where's the flood? Sorry.
actually, it looked like a clean tackle from my point, but nevertheless, Collinwood starts with semi-decent field position as Ware was met with extreme prejudice. We were on the change of possession. We'll hit you guys with our second Senate League trivia question, and that is, who currently leads the city championship series between Collinwood and John Marshall?
I'm gonna have to go with Collinwood.
I'll go with John Marshall again.
You seem like you got the hot hand, so you just stick with Marshall. I understand. So, after a couple plays, we'll come back to that. It's actually a good question. I had to look this up myself. And shout out to Joe Idle for the help. JoeIdle.com does unofficial state playoff pairings and rankings. Been doing it since 2000. He gave us a shout out, so shout out to Joe. And he was first and 10 Collinwood, and Brown is in the shotgun. He drops back to pass. He's flushed out of the pocket. He just throws it away. It'll be second and 10 for the Railroaders.
Hopefully you flicker on that play.
You know what? Going back to that play, I honestly think that play would have worked and had a shot to actually might be a record touchdown pass if that ball was thrown with all the intents and purposes with some strength. You know, it was only the receiver and the safety between the two, so it could have went either way had that been a perfectly thrown ball.
I agree.
Second and 10 for Collinwood. Oh, there's a flag. And it looks like it's going to be a legal substitution play against Collinwood. Broke the huddle with 12, so that will back them up 5. It'll be second and 15. And Jalen, as you referred to earlier, these penalties are hurting.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. These penalties just keep stacking and stacking for Collinwood.
Second and 15 for Collinwood. Brown in the shotgun. Brown takes the snap. He drops back to pass. He throws. Actually, no. He breaks away. Gets the lane. And he's brought down after a gain of, it looks like 5. So he's back to the original line of scrimmage. Fun fact for you, Sean, I've never lost against John Marshall. As we, actually, the only game I did play in against John Marshall, we won 26-0. That was 2001, I believe. Yeah.
Where was that game played at? By the way?
That was actually at, it was at Rhodes, believe it or not. As at back then, John Marshall was the only stadium in the Senate with lights. So, second or third down. This was another penalty. It's a delayed game penalty against Collinwood, so now it backs them back up 5.
Right back where they were.
Man, Collinwood just cannot catch a break today.
That'd be number 5 today, correct? 5th penalty of the day?
I believe so. Is it a full moon today? Is it supposed to be a full moon tonight? No, it is close to Halloween.
How many stadiums in the Senate League have lights now?
I believe 2. Wayne Browder and Collinwood.
And that's why the games are played right after school, because they don't have lights, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when the Browns stepped in and helped out after this play, I'll finish that. This 4 wide receiver set, empty set for Brown takes the snap, and he throws to Simon, but is incomplete as Brown is drilled as he throws the ball. But going back to that question, the Browns stepped in. They did a complete overhaul of all the fields. The problem was they tore down some really decent areas. Like John Marshall Stadium was beautiful. It's one of the largest stadiums in the Senate. And when they stepped in, they tore down the entire stadium. And now it's a shadow of its former self. There were no lights, barely any bleachers, which is kind of heartbreaking. And I had so many memories there at John Marshall, from Pee Wee going back to my high school days. And it is actually 4th and 15 for Collinwood, and I'm going to assume they punt, as you do not want to give John Marshall this type of field position. The kick is away, it's short, it takes a bounce, and it looks like it's going to die close to midfield, and it does. So John Marshall will take over after the punt. First down on the Collinwood 48 or 49 yard line. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love the fact that the Browns stepped in and, helped out with the fields, but I just don't feel like they had to tear down anything.
Yeah.
A couple renovations. If I remember, John Marshall and Rhodes both had locker rooms on the home and the visitor side, underneath the bleachers. It was something that was needed but not needed. So 1st and 10 for John Marshall on the Collinwood 48, and Lace is in the shotgun. He takes the snap and he hands it off. And good run. Gets a gain of 3. As he's tackled by D'Angelo Solomon. Solomon had a great game last week against John Adams. Almost close to 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and a couple of tackles on defense.
Oh, wow, he was all over the field, everywhere on that.
He was, and it was, for him to be his size, he can move very well. So it'll be 2nd and 7 rather. And it's caught, and he breaks the tackle. There's a fumble in the play! Looks like Collinwood will get it. So the turnover margin is even at 1 apiece, as Collinwood causes a fumble, but it's deep in their territory, which is the only downside to that.
At least they caught a break, though, after getting burned on that play.
And Jalen, you are absolutely correct, because honestly, I thought that was a touchdown. But a touchdown-saving tackle/fumble turns into something that could be a momentum shift. You mentioned momentum a lot in the Senate, because once you have momentum, it's hard to come back from that. As we saw with last week's game between John Hay and Glenville, John Hay drew first blood as Trey Tinsley threw a 30-yard touchdown pass, and we thought John Hay would have had the momentum as he struck first. And then Glenville's running game stepped in and said, "Nah, we got this." Deshaun Watley broke off an 80-yard touchdown. Unfortunately, it was called back on a holding penalty, but he'd come back a couple plays later with a 40-yard touchdown. So I think he broke even on that.
Yeah.
Brown in the shotgun, hands off to Solomon, but Solomon is met by a big man in the front, and it is a flag on the play. There are more flags on the play. And we will wait for the referees to give us the word on what the flags are.
Zion Robinson he's a big man. You're not getting away from him. You run into him, he's got you.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
And sportsmanlike against Collinwood. So both penalties against Collinwood, and it's going to back them up close to the shadow of the goalpost. So we're hoping that Collinwood gets these penalties together, because that's the only thing that's really hurting them.
Absolutely, and this is where they were last time when they turned the ball over. So you gotta hope they're not having flashbacks about turning the ball over again.
So it'll be 1st and 14, as it can't be 15, the ball will be sitting on the goal line at that point. But 1st and 14 for Collinwood, and Collinwood is now in the, what looks like the I formation. So I'm assuming they're going to try to run it out, get some space.
John Marshall's stacking the line there. They're ready for this.
Indeed.
This might be the time. I know it sounds crazy, but this might be the time you pass. They're ready. Look, they're ready for this.
I I was about to say that actually. If Collinwood's line can hold, then it's the perfect time to pass the ball.
And I guess we're all in agreement because looking at this, I can smell the blitz from up here in the booth.
I mean, look where Zion is. He's ready. He's right on that far side, but we're not getting through that side.
Well, Sean, it's not like he can really move anywhere. The ball is so close to the goal line, and he's so close to the ball. He might be trying to eat it.
Obviously, the next worst thing here could be a safety, which would really go against Collinwood, or a fumble, which would turn into a touchdown.
And Brown takes it. He hands it off to Solomon. Solomon is brought back after a gain of, looks like 2, maybe 1 on the play. So I start thinking about passing 2, as this is very dangerous territory. So we will see what Coach Wheeler has cooked up.
At least they got the ball out a yard or 2. So it's to the 2 before it was on the goal line, so at least they got it spotted a little bit better.
Yeah, it's actually 2nd and 13 now, so technically that would have been a game of 2. And believe it or not, we got a nice turnout here today. It looks like both sides have showed up, and including the Senate All-Stars, who will be mentioned at halftime. So shout out to those guys. They've worked hard all week and all season. And I know Brown looking, he throws, but it is incomplete as he's just throwing the ball up as desperation. He's about to get hit. So it'll be 3rd down. But yeah, as we mentioned, as my research has it, I think this is the first time in league history for the Senate that they have sent 3 teams to the state playoffs, as Glenville, John Hay, and Rhodes all qualified for state. As the state playoffs were expanded from 14 to 16 this year.
That's really nice to see more of the Senate getting into the playoffs.
Indeed it is, because they usually call the Senate the black and blue league because everybody's beating up on each other. It's kind of hard to qualify for state after non-conference play. And going back to our Senate League trivia question, who leads the city championship series between John Marshall and Collinwood is actually Collinwood, Jalen. So you were correct on that, as they are leading the series 2-1. And Brown throws. It is over the head of DeMarcus Montgomery, so it'll be 4th down for the Railroaders, and they will be forced to punt again. Collinwood looking to hopefully have a better punt.
Brown he's got pain in his left arm. He's been shaking his hand. He was coming off the field. Looked like he was in some pain. He might have hit his hand on the helmet or something. See, he's holding his wrist.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Solomon back to punt. There's a flag on the play, but the kick is away. It's caught.
Get him.
He's got a lane. He's making moves. And he's brought down inside the 5. But again, there is a flag on the play. We will wait to see what the flag is about.
I couldn't get the number on the first person that attempted to tackle the returner, but it looked like he tried to, what I call in Madden, a hit stick. It looked like he tried to do something like that instead of just wrapping him up, which he should have just tried to wrap him up instead of doing that.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's a great return for the returner of John Marshall. We couldn't get the number. Wait to see what the referees are discussing. So there's a block in the back against John Marshall. That will back them up. And we will see where the ball ends up being spotted. So we had spotted at the Collinwood 43.
Oh, the first penalty for John Marshall of the day.
Yeah.
It really takes their chance. I mean, they could have put this game away.
I wouldn't say put the game away, but it would be looking like last time they met in the city championship. As Lace is in the shotgun in the pistol formation. And there is a flag. There's a false start against John Marshall, so that'll back them up another 5. So that'll put the ball back at Collinwood 48. And it rains the corners for Marshall as that is their second penalty in a row.
Yeah. It's not looking too good for Marshall with the penalties right now. They seem to keep piling up.
Yeah, his field position was decent even after the penalty, but now you're close to midfield. You have to work harder to get back to where you originally started. So, 1st and 15, pistol formation for Lakes. And there's a man in motion. Lakes takes the snap, he hands it off. There's a broken tackle, he's still on his feet. He's held up now, and his forward progress will be stopped close to the first down as Antonio Newhoff will almost get the first down. And the clock is running with 4:14 to go in the second quarter. Marshall looking to put some more points on the board. 2nd and 1. They still in the pistol formation. He hands off to Newhoff again. Newhoff gets the first down. He's hard to bring down. He's finally brought down after what looks like a gain of 6 or 7. And there is a flag on the play. This will be a unsportsmanlike conduct against Collinwood again.
15, correct?
It looks like it will be 15 added on to the run, so it'll give John Marshall another first down. And there's another flag. Oh man, this is getting bad.
Oh, against the coach.
Coach Stokes.
We need to get back, coach. Someone that grabs him and bring him back from that.
Oh, man. We see a lot of that all season over at Lutheran West. We actually qualified for state as well. Shout out to those guys. We can't wait to get on the field tomorrow. But it looks like because of these second unsportsmanlike penalty for number 72, that is Javon Montgomery, it doesn't look like he'll be back in the game, at least for the half. So as the referees discuss it, we wait to see where the ball will be spotted.
This is the time where Collinwood has to keep their cool because they're still in this game, like we said.
It's only a one-score game.
Correct.
And the defense has come up with stops. They've come up with turnovers. So it's not like, the game is out of reach. It's really up to the Collinwood defense as well as the offense to get it together and say, hey, we got to get some points on the board. We got to turn this game around. And the game still can be turned around.
Absolutely, but can't get anywhere with unsportsmanlike conduct calls. Those aren't. It's not really necessary.
You are absolutely right, because those are 15. 15 will get you backed up real quick.
15 yards is a lot.
So,
this works out pretty good because actually Watley showed up. He was player of the week last week.
so this will back Collinwood up all the way to inside the 10 or the 10. What looks like actually it's on the looks like the 6-yard line. So this is not good, as the running game has been starting to work for John Marshall. So when John Marshall breaks the huddle, it'll be first and goal at the 6. So they send their pistol, New off behind him. And there's another penalty. Offside, Collinwood. And this is just not the day for Collinwood.
Penalties are just killing them right now. Shooting themselves in the foot.
I'm going to imagine Coach Wheeler's probably having a mini heart attack right now with all penalties.
You can only imagine what the halftime speech is going to be like.
I don't want to know what the halftime speech is going to sound like. So, in the pistol formation, 3 wide receivers, Lake's in the shotgun, waiting for the snap. He takes the snap. He hands off to Newhoff. Newhoff is hit. He's still on his feet. And touchdown, Warriors. So with that, it is now a 2-score game as John Marshall takes the lead.
John Marshall's done a really good job since they switched out their running backs from Pope to Newhoff. Newhoff has been doing a really good job at gaining yards.
Well, Newhoff has a hard-nosed running style, so I would imagine that change of pace was not what Collinwood was expecting. But nevertheless, it has turned into points for the Warriors. You know, it's good to see these West Side schools of the Senate League, being built back up. As when I was in high school, you used to see John Marshall and Rhodes and Lincoln West stat games. Marshall will attempt a 2-point. Lakes takes it, and heads to the outside, he throws, and it is incomplete. So another missed 2-point conversion. It is still a 2-score game for Collinwood, as it is now 12-0 in favor of John Marshall. And with 2:54 left, it's not out of the realm of impossible. Not out of the realm of possibility, rather, for Collinwood to get a score back into this game.
Jalen said before, you just can't have these penalties. They're unnecessary, and they have to stop for Collinwood to get back in this game.
And that's the truth. It's nothing but the truth. So with that, we will hope that Collinwood will get a chance to actually make something of their possession before halftime.
The one thing I did see from early with Collinwood was Jacob Brown. When he ran the ball for Collinwood, they made some great moves and got the first downs earlier. I don't know about you guys. Do you think they need to go back to that a little bit?
I don't think the running game was a problem. I just think, it's a high kick. It is caught. And Simon tries to make a move. He does make a move, but he is brought down at the 21-yard line. So, to your point, Sean, I don't think that running the ball was the problem. I think not having a balanced attack is what's hurting them. They missed on several passes, the pick 6, which led to a touchdown. I just think that this is one of those situations where if there's no balance, there can't be a real drive that's sustainable, because John Marshall's locked into what you're going to do, and they're locked in right now to the run game.
Yeah, it's just way too predictable if you don't have a balance.
And there you go. So I'm going to assume that they may change this up in the second half, but who knows? But like I said, I don't want to be part of that locker room speech at halftime.
We're missing some guys off the field.
You know what? While we have a moment, we're going to send a very special shout out to Coach Andrews at Rhodes High School, because he actually was Coach of the Year in the Senate this year.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Coach
The
Andrews.
turnaround he gave Rhodes. You know, Rhodes had a very hardship after the death of Coach Gary.
I feel like that's a very well-deserved Coach of the Year.
And Brown takes the snap. He hands off to Solomon. Solomon is hit. He's brought down. Not even a gain of yard. Looks like a no gain. But yeah, after the death of Coach Gary, who was also head coach here at Collinwood, you know, Rose program was hard it was hard for them to bounce back. They did. They kept making it back to, you know, slowly but surely they kept making it back and they made strides. And this year they made it to state for the first time in school history. So it was very well deserved for Coach Andrews and the Rhodes Rams. $2:21 left. We will make sure that this half is hopefully an exciting one as Collinwood still have the ball. Looking like this may be the last possession for them of the half. If they cannot convert a first down, which they haven't done since earlier in the first. So 2nd and 10 for Collinwood as they have a 4 wide receiver set. Brown is in the shotgun. Solomon is next to him. Brown takes the snap and throws. It's a short pass. It looks like Simon is brought down.
Marshall's
It is timeout. It is also a timeout for John Marshall as they call a timeout. So we see where the plan is for John Marshall as they're trying to get the ball back and maybe put another score up before halftime.
Why they keep doing this? Collinwood, man, we ain't won one since '07. Y'all gotta quit playing with my emotions. So I was the front row treatment.
That's all right. I mean, just doing videos. That's pretty much it.
Actually, this was, you know what? This is also the same game that you left me. You threw me to the wolves, and I had to broadcast, play-by-play myself.
Yeah, this was the guy I was telling you about. So after the timeout, it will be third down and 10 for Collinwood, and shotgun set with 4 wide receivers, trips to the far side. Brown takes the snap, he fumbles it, and he is sacked. He is sacked, and there was a fumble, and there was a flag on the play. The fumble was recovered by John Marshall, but there is a flag on the play, so we're going to see what the flag is about.
I thought he was down, guys. I gotta be honest, because he was onto the ground, and then the ball popped out.
And there's a sportsmanlike conduct against John Marshall, so that'll back them up from the spot of the fumble recovery. And nevertheless, it was a dead ball foul, so John Marshall will take over first and 10.
I gotta agree with you though, Sean. It did look like he was down. Too bad there's no instant replay to recheck that or anything like that.
Yeah. So the lineman fell on him. That's when the ball came out.
I mean, if the lineman fell on me, the ball's coming out for me too. So, but John Marshall takes over first and 10 at the 15. Lakes takes it and hands off to Newhoff. Newhoff spins. He's still on his feet, but then he's brought down after a gain of what looks like 4. And with 1:44 left to go and counting, Marshall's not wasting any time trying to put another one in the end zone. The Lakes, 3 wide receiver set, takes the snap, he hands off on a jet sweep, and he is in for another touchdown as Tavion Jackson showing off today. Yeah, Tavion Jackson showing off, and he gets the touchdown on a jet sweep. So it is now a 3-score game for Collinwood before halftime with 1:35 left to go. Actually, 1:25, excuse me. After 1:25 left to go in the first half. And from the looks of things, John Marshall looking to even the score as far as the series and the city championship is concerned. He must have heard us. Lakes is looking for a pass. He throws it, and it is caught for the 2 points. So the first 2-point conversion on a pass play, and John Marshall has a comfortable 20-0 halftime lead.
Atkins with a great catch there, wide open.
Yeah, indeed. Oh man. So in the spirit of the old NCAA football games, when it rains, it pours, but sadly, we do not have an umbrella in the press box with us. And Marshall takes a 20-0 lead going into halftime. I do believe Collinwood will get the ball back as they deferred to the second half. But it'll be an uphill battle for the Railroaders.
Yeah, they got 1:25 left on the clock. Let's see if they can do something with that, and then so that they get the ball back and be able to put up some more points possibly.
Kick is away. And apologies for our camera, but number 3, Chaz Johnson on the return. Flag on the play as well. And or was it a flag? Okay, they waved the flag off. So it'll be first and 10 Collinwood at the 30. And with 1:17 left, Collinwood looking to play for some halftime pride. As you can see, the body language tells it all. Round on the shotgun. And there is a flag. There's a false start for Collinwood. Collinwood is not able to catch a break on the penalty side.
Yeah, these penalties have been really killing them today.
Penalties have killed them all season. In the city championship game, you do not want the penalties to hit you this hard. As we are up to what, 9, 10? 10 penalties for Collinwood. So Brown in the shotgun, 4 wide receiver set. Brown takes the snap, it's low, he throws it, it's caught, but he's hit and dropped immediately. But he does get the 5 yards back, almost to the original line of scrimmage. So that's where it will be second down and looks like 11. Okay, it will be second and 10 according to the PA announcer. So second and 10. Brown in the shotgun. It's a low snap again. Brown looks to throw. Brown is sacked again. That's the second one. And John Marshall on a roll with the clock running down to 26 seconds. I think maybe Coach Wheeler will just take it into the half.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was Coach Wheeler. I would just let the clock run out, take it to the half, talk to your team about what they need to improve on.
And it looks like they'll go. Brown takes it. He throws a deep ball. And it is intercepted again. But that will probably be the half it will be the half as John Marshall takes a 20-0 lead into halftime. We'll be back with the second half after this.